sustain a relationship with them, and also how they can, in their states as career ladies, sustain relationships. How do they blend the two roles of being a married woman and a successful career personality as a lady? We are discussing this with our regular Tuesday editions panelists who are with us in the house. Apostle Ambe Valentine Gwa, our permanent consultant, is in the house, who also doubles as the president of the Cameroon's Pentecostal movement. Good evening, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Cameroonians. Good evening, my fellow panelists, and welcome to this very important educative session of the program, Prime R, this Tuesday. We are going to be discussing something very sensitive. I know many persons are glued to their screen today, and they are waiting anxiously to see how or what we are going to be contributing as far as the topic is concerned. I want to extend my greetings to a few friends who are there in England. Manfred Mutanga, Somo Jude, Reverend Song Yusimbom, your wife Manfred, Ashley also, who took good care of me when I came to London. And I say a shout out to all of you guys there fixed on your screen now watching this program.
We also in the company of Apostle Esingie Alfred, who is the Secretary General of the Cameroon Pentecostal movement, but also an expert on issues of relationship and marriage. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, my fellow panelists, Dr. Ambe. We are happy to see you again because I know your voice in what we do is very powerful. I want to greet all our people out there who are always supporting us and then getting back to us to tell us we're doing well. We want to say thank you. And please stay tuned and follow us again this night.
All the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital, is Apostle Lefo Divine, who is in the studio with me this evening. Is going to be talking on this topic. They call him the Love Doctor. We're glad to have you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Leo, and greetings to all our amazing panelists here. It's always an honor for me to be amongst these great minds. It's quite humbling. I'm generally known as the youngest panelist on this platform, and I'm so honored to be among such great people. Yeah, I'm glad to be here again, and we are sure to have another beautiful time to share wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and want to celebrate all those who are watching from all over the world. I am the Love Doctor. Don't forget to tell that yes, he's coming. Yeah.
Okay. Rev Kenneth is here, so in the house with us on great personality when we talk of issues touching on relationship and marriage. Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Good evening. Good evening to the apostles. Good evening to our viewers. As Apostle Esingie said, it's really so, so heart touching to meet our viewers out there who, who are glad to meet us and to testify that the program always edifies them. We are so glad we are here tonight because you are out there, and each time the Lord grants us the grace, we'll always be here. So please stay tuned, and we're going to have a sweat time tonight.
Also from Burma in the Northwest Regional Capital, we're going to be having contributions from Apostle Mrs. Asanji Yvette, who will be contributing to what we are discussing. Apostle Ambe Valentine Angwa, we are starting with you. Does a woman's level or status in life actually has an impact on their marriage?
Yes, Mr. Leo. Without doubt. Even tradition would tell you in some particular cycles that when a woman is well educated and has a fat salary, the bride price increases. Even at the level of the tradition, they would tell that we spend so much on her. So sometimes the status of a woman actually affects her marriage. Earlier, before this time, women were not given the privilege and the opportunity to handle certain responsibilities. They were just as good as housewives, and practically they had nothing to offer than to stay back home and raise children. But with the evolution of things, you realize that women have started accepting or being given the opportunity to control certain offices and to manage certain responsibilities. And because of that, the 21st century woman is not the 14th century woman, it's not the 15th century woman. The word career woman never existed in the 14th, 15th century. This time around, we have career women because women are now engaged into what we call career. In those days, it was men who had career because career was designed for men. But now, career is something that both the male and the female are engaged into. So we have different categories of women and with different status, and their status and their career equally affects their marriages and their relationships. And the earlier we accept that we are born in an era that things are not the way they used to be, comparing our wives in this 21st century with our mothers in the 16th, 17th, 18th century is an era of monumental proportion, because the 21st century woman has the opportunity that the 14th century, 15th century woman did not have. So that word career woman is very sensitive. Today we are going to be addressing this issue on two fronts. Number one, a woman that is married already as a career woman, and a woman that found a career in marriage. That's very sensitive. When you are stepping into as a career woman, the person getting married to you should accept what is seen on ground, and there are certain protocols that are supposed to be put in place in order for you to agree to stay together. A woman should not be deprived of her career or responsibility if at all you knew from the very beginning. Now, if at all along the line she became a career woman while you're already married, then there is a lot of things to be put in place also that will make sure that the home is not affected. I don't think career is a replacement for a man's responsibility or a man's place in the society. A career does not replace children's place in the society. A career does not replace your responsibility as a wife. It has to do with just the management. Anyway, there are some careers that are too demanding. For instance, a woman is a pilot, very demanding. A woman, I was in London, women are bus drivers. They drive throughout the day, some drive throughout the night. That's a career. Some are working in banks, and there's a demand on them. Some of them are police officers. So with all this put together, before you get married, you should understand the stakes on ground. Every man wants to marry a successful woman, but no one wants to pay the price marrying a successful woman. That is exactly what I will lay as foundation.
Okay, that is also an issue to ponder on. We're talking about women who are highly placed in society, and then he's raising an issue of successful woman. Is do we conclude that every career lady is necessarily a successful woman?
When we talk about success, we say success is holistic.
Okay.
But there are times that you can be successful in one area of your life, especially some people who cannot multitask. These always usually have a problem when people can't multitask. It means that you can't be a mother at the same time you be a wife, at the same time you be a manager, at the same time you have a challenge with that. But there are some people who can perfectly multitask, and those people, we call them workaholics. They are ready to work, make sure that their family is okay, make sure that your husband is fine, make sure that there is food always ready in the house, make sure that the children are fine. Sometimes can even leave the office and go to the school of the children. Sometimes can even leave the office and maybe have some time to share with the husband in a restaurant somewhere and all that. There are women like that, of course. But now the successful part of it is that there are some that they are successful in their business or their job or what they do, but they may not be successful at the level of their homes. That's why we're now trying to talk about the lopsided success, which is geared towards one part of success. But of course, we are trying to look at this holistic nature of success, and that is why one of the things that people always tell employers before they employ them, they say, I can multitask and I can work in tight conditions and all the like. When they say that looking at the job description, but they don't think that it also has to be with what we call role conflicts. Role conflict simply means you are met with different tasks. As a mother, the children are demanding. As a wife, the husband is demanding, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly why we must pay attention to some of these things and see how we can rather help the women rather than maybe criticizing them or talk negative against them. I can better tell you a little bit about that, but I'm trying to tell you that we will not try to be sarcastic or try to be nasty with professional women. No, we're going to see how to coach them, guide them, and help them how they can do better in what they do in their life and their jobs.
Okay.
Yes,
but who is a successful woman?
A successful woman is that person that can take care of her home, take care of her husband, take care of her job without necessarily breaking down. that kind of a woman is a successful woman. She may not be wealthy, she may not be having much money, but she can be able, she has peace in her home. Now, I was just trying to see that all around her there's peace.
You are looking at it from a holistic perspective.
Holistic perspective.
Spiritually,
yes,
economically, and socially.
Exactly.
Okay. And let us hear from the lone lady on the panel today. Mr. Asanji Yvette certainly has an introduction to give to us as far as this topic is concerned. Let her lay a foundation so that we build on that.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to my co-panelists. Special greetings to our televiewers. Mr. Leo, career women are women who are devoted and passionate, dedicated to achieving a particular professional career. They are strong women. They are focused women. They are women who are determined. They know what they want and they go for it. I mean, they are very strong women. Strong women that can sometimes be a threat. Some men look at them to be like, oh, no, this one is more of a masculine than a feminine. I'm just going to name those character traits that describes a career woman the way it is. I know that some women might not like it, but this is just the truth. Career women are so strong. They are so determined. In fact, they are consumed by their passion. When you see them doing what they're doing, you understand that they're out for results. They are result-oriented. That's why you see that most career women fall under the temperament of the choleric. They are just energetic, powerful. I mean, they can do they can do their stuffs without necessarily asking for help. They can do their things all by themselves. That's just who God has created them to be. You know, and this is where sometimes men find it difficult to, or I'll tell you the truth, that most career women are singles. Some of them are singles, some are not married completely, some have been married and divorced, some have been married and separated. I tell you the truth, look around, go on social media, count 10 career women and let's see how many are married. I mean, happily married, succeeding in their marriage. Now, the reason is because sometimes I think women don't understand what it is to be a career woman and to have a relationship. Unfortunately, career women believe so much in what they are doing. In fact, their passion consumes them. I mean, they can sacrifice every other thing for what they are doing. As long as they are doing their career, as long as they are pursuing their purpose and career, they are so fulfilled. I mean, it brings real fulfillment to them. That is why you see that most tend to neglect relationships. That's why most tend to ignore or maybe end up in relationships that are not working because they fail to understand how to place relationships alongside their career. Career women, if you were to ask them to choose, between their career and the relationship, or their career and marriage, Mr. Leo, I bet you they will choose their career because it brings them so much fulfillment. They know what they want. They are creating impact. And that alone is bringing them the satisfaction. I mean, the happiness that they pray for, that they look for, they derive, they want. So it now happens that I'm happy we have programs like this that can help some of these career women to follow up and understand the placement of relationship with a career. Now, pursuing career does not mean that you should neglect relationships. Pursuing career does not mean that you should not be mindful of maybe a love life. Now, I am not saying that career women are not in need of a man. They need a man. But if that man comes and plays around and like acts like you want to be a hindrance to their career, they will shift you away. I mean, they are so focused, so consumed, so zealous with what they're doing to the level where anything that can stand on the way, they will kick it away. They will take it off. So career women are just that, you know, they impact the world. The world admire them, you know, but be careful. Sometimes their marriages are not the best. Sometimes their relationships are not the best. You know, I'll give you real how to balance, how to work as a career woman and stay married, or how to be a career woman and be successful. I think I'll be doing that in my second intervention, Mr. Leo. But I just wanted to lay this foundation for people to understand who a career woman is. Now, as strong as she is, she's not it is not her in her will or willingness to threaten a man, but unconsciously, you know, men get threatened. I don't know how to put it, but like men naturally get threatened when they see that too much of a masculine person in her instead of the feminine person in her. Mr. Leo, I will come back for how to live as a career woman with relationships.
Thank you, Mrs. Asanji Yvette, the love doctor. I'm sure you followed up what she was saying. She described a career lady as a very strong, focused lady who knows what they want, and they go for it, and may even place the career, both any love or any relationship, and would easily tell a man out in favor of their career. Is that not also what could be frightening about these ladies described as career ladies? Many men get intimidated.
Yes, we have to say it the way it is. It is actually one of the reasons, because, like it or not, career women are not the majority of women. We must, I think that we are actually handling something that is evolving and emerging. Yes, it's rising.
And many more ladies are
getting into
involved.
it, but especially in our African context, it's still not the majority. Yes, people can, that's why you see all these girls making noise on social media, still go behind. Some are telling you, oh, don't cook for your man. I saw arguments until somebody was coming online, was arguing whether a woman should even remove a plate for the husband after the man has eaten. It was an argument. I was like, when did we get to this level? It's an argument. So sometimes it's just this mindset, and people are coming no matter what. But some of these people are talking like this from posting from a man's kitchen. Some of these very ladies, they will tell you that deep within, their desire is to have a family and do all of that. So we must understand that these character traits of being a career woman, which we have defined, I think there's no need to be going back and forth again with the definition. I think most of the definition that have come forth has covered much of the ground. It's already describing a lady who finds much more fulfillment in life in what they are doing. And that is something that's a key word, much more, because that also determines that the kind of man that will come into her life cannot also be the usual, because these women are already driven by something else. And we often see this only in men. That's why we start talking about a manly, in fact we start saying it behave like man picking, because that was something that we we often see, but in the male characteristics. Because like what I've always said, that when man was created, God did not give him but woman. God gave man work. So for a man, it's very natural for work to come first before a relationship. But it's a little bit it's an evolution that brings now a woman, because you know when a woman was made, the first thing that they showed her was the man. So now it comes now, and we see a woman now who has a lot of drive towards accomplishing something on earth. And now I think we are in that phase, I call it an adolescence of emerging career women, where people are still trying to find that balance, find that understanding of what is happening to us. And I think that's where the main problem is, because talking about what you're saying, men see this thing. And if a man is, because there's a way that men want their women to flow, and they are not used to also this emerging kind of women. And I think that's why we are on this platform right now. I'm sure I have a lot to talk about this, but when the right questions come, I think I'll be able to put my own.
Reverend Tato, you also, I'm sure, followed what Mr. Asanji presented earlier on, she says that the divorce rate amongst most of these ladies described as career ladies is very high because they place more attachment to the careers than actually devoting time to working for the success of their relationship. Where is the problem? Is it the lack of that knowledge and wisdom to balance work life and the marriage life?
Yeah, Mr. Liu, I think the challenge we have here is an issue of mindset.
Okay.
Yes. Mindset is actually the major challenge we have in this particular domain because I don't know if we could really express the degree to which this thing is recurrent in society scenario. We would like to do it because it is a key aspect of marital relationships in our society today, where marriages are being made, in fact, are being tensed because of career. The women in career and marriages are not taking the dimension they ought to take, the marital bliss that is supposed to be in marriages. Now, let me begin by talking about the orientation some women give their children. They say, no enter man in house where you never get work. Those are some things that some women have put in the minds of their girl child, that they should never attempt to accept a marital proposal from a man until they have a job. And the question is usually like, okay, so if you don't have a job at 40, you keep waiting. So mindset is a very serious aspect of this particular issue that we're talking about. Now, when you look at the configuration of the family in God's terms, the woman has her place, the man has his place. And most often we forget to define the reason for which people get engaged in career. You know, career here is, we can look at it from the angle of profession and vocation. We talk about profession, those, in fact, that's what gives, you know, accounts for a living, what gives you a bread, what gives you put food on your table, that's the profession. And then the vocation is the purpose for which somebody lives. So women who are in ministry, for example, we can talk about, in fact, they're also career women from in another sense. So the challenge we have today is that the independence, the autonomy that people want to demonstrate because they are in career, especially the women, is a very serious factor which should be addressed, because I think Apostle Ambe has made a very beautiful presentation, I mean, in the past, talking about the place of a man, that the place of a man is not something that is supposed to be contested, it's something that we are supposed to come to terms with. So, career does not constitute a replacement for the place of a man in the life of a woman. It is not also a platform for comparison as to whether since I'm the one bringing in more of the income, or I'm the one who is working and you are not working, I should be in charge and assume the place of husband. And that is the temptation which many career women face in our society today. Now, when you look at this issue I'm talking about, mindset, there are women who are in very high places in society, who have even reached the place of supremacy, that is president in the nation. But when you look at the way they manage their homes, there is still that submission. Then you are a secretary in a company and you are wanting to be dominated over a man because you are a career woman. So it's an issue of mindset. People who place a premium on marital life, they will be able, whether you are a career woman to whatever level, you'll be able to make sure that you take your place as the woman, as the mother, as the wife of that home, in order for the home to take the dimension it ought to take. Now, this is what I'm talking about. There are people who, by virtue of their love for marriage, by virtue of the importance they place on family and marriage, they do everything they can do to see that the jobs they get involved in, they are not too demanding, that at the end of the day, they are taken away from their wife responsibility, they are taken away from their motherly responsibility in favor of career. Now, this is what a young man approached me getting to about a year. The guy said, "Sir, please, if you know a lady that has graduated from ENS and has good character, please, I want to recommend as wife." Why is he asking for such? He thinks it will be good for him to get married to a lady who maybe goes to teach about twice a week or thrice a week and can have all the time to, you know, to be able to work in to play her role back at home. So the bottom line, as I'm saying, is that we must get back to terms with the fact that there is a sanity, there is a degree of health that God purposed the marriage and family life to possess, and this can only be if each and everyone is playing their role, at least if not perfectly, to a certain degree. What I'm saying to say is, women who are in careers that take them away from home, from their responsibility, this is a serious issue to reconsider. Reconsidering it not because they are not supposed to be in careers, but to zero out on the point that you as the man, you as the woman, if you people are successful at the level of career, and then you are marital dwarfs, it already defeats a very serious issue in society. It is better to be, at least to achieve a certain balance to a certain degree, if not. When I left the university, that was in 2005, I think 2006 or so, I attended an interview with one of the big 4 auditing firms in the world. So after we finished, we had the interview at the Aqua Palace Hotel. After we finished up, we went to eat in the White House restaurant. So one of the guys who was already a worker there, we were just discussing. So he said something, say, if you are so mindful about family, you cannot work. I don't want to call the name of the company. You cannot work in this company. From there, I started praying. I said, don't tell me in this job. Because I was planning that I will be getting me married in the next 1 or 2 years. You are telling me if I'm mindful about it, it means what will I be working this money for? And this is one of the things that is supposed to inform the decision of women when they want to get involved in career to a certain extent. The truth is that men are just figureheads of families. That is my take. The real managers of a home, the person that holds the home together, is the woman. The connection that a child has with the mother from the womb, and the way a mother can, or the woman puts things together, manages the home together, few are the men, if at all, that can do it. So the absence of the woman in the home is a very serious challenge, which career women, or those who are really so passionate about career, as Madam Asanji was talking, must be very careful about it. If not, you will see that you are fixing one thing and spoiling 3 others.
Okay. Apostle Ambe, Valentine Ngwa, how do we find a balance between succeeding in our career path and being the good wife in the house?
Yeah, the problem is who you pay allegiance to is your master.
Okay.
Whoever you pay allegiance to is your master. There are 3 things involved with a career woman. She has a husband, she could be a boss, or she has a boss. We are going to know the value of a husband and that of a boss. If we are not able to differentiate these two, then we are going nowhere. When the woman is a boss, she will be able to understand the role of a husband. Among these 3 persons, who is the superior? Who deserves the attention? Who's supposed to give orders? And at what time the person is supposed to give orders? If we don't differentiate this, then we are going to be rigmaroling on this platform till we go home. Because one, either you are a boss, you are submitted to a boss, or you are submitting to a husband. The problem between the husband and the boss, who needs attention more? Number 2, who has the final say? Because in every society, there must be somebody that cuts the final T and dots the final I's. So between the husband and the boss, either the woman being that boss in her career, or she's submitted to a boss in a career, who needs more attention? How do you manage the boss, and how do you manage the husband? The boss is a commander, the husband is a commander. The boss needs attention, the husband needs attention. When the bosses and the husband's attention clash, who are we to submit to? This is where you'll be able to know if you can manage properly your home and manage your career. So most career women are caught up between the hammer and the anvil. That is to say, the boss is there, who is the one making provision. The boss is there, is the one that is giving you what you are eating and what you're wearing. The husband is there, is the head and the authority. So who are you going to obey? I think all these people deserve respect, but we must know who is supposed to be the primordial, who is the one that deserves respect the most. Because just like we have today in our churches, we have the pastor, and we have the husband of a woman. In between the husband and the pastor, who should the woman submit to most? But you see, it is a misplacement of these ranks and authorities that has brought career as if it's an abuse to marriage. Because some women will respect their bosses, saying that now man that they give you chop for table. Fail to understand that your husband does not need to give food on the table to be a husband. He's an authority by nature. He's an authority by custom. He's an authority by the law. He's an authority by God's agenda. So you must pay homage and respect to where respect is supposed to be given. Now, coming back to your question, how does a career woman manage the career and the family? The first is any decision of the family and the career must be discussed back at home. The outcome of everything that a woman should be doing in her career, it is decided in the house. If at home they decide the boss will not have an upper hand because before she goes out, there is already a solution to what they have discussed back at home. Mm-hmm. But if you go out of the house without taking command from your husband, the man who is a boss or the demand of your office as a boss may go against the rules of engagement with respect to what you and your husband have not discussed. Mm-hmm. So it is but normal that you must understand that your blessings, even as a boss, or your blessing submitting to a boss or working in that career, comes from your relationship in your house. Because the Bible clearly states that a man who is not in good agreement with the wife, even their prayers are hindered. So a lot of things will get frustrated outside there if at all back home you have not settled scores with your husband. For instance, your husband has discussed with you that, okay, you can go out for missions. Once your boss comes in to take you out for missions, it doesn't become a problem anymore. But if your husband has not agreed with you going out for missions and your boss comes in with missions, your husband can counter it. That is the reason why you guys have to decide on what is acceptable as a couple and what is not acceptable. And if I'm left to discuss with any career woman, if there's anybody you have to trade between your husband and your boss, you have to trade your boss. Because your boss is a stranger in that home. I used to tell my wife that she's the only Christian I have now. Every other Christian can backslide. But I marry her, we have to go to court before we separate. So she's more of the number one Christian I have now. So your husband, you don't have to joke. That's the reason why. That's the reason why you see when Adam and Eve were in the garden, when Eve sinned, the boss was angry. The woman followed her husband. She didn't follow the boss. She followed the husband and they went out of the Garden of Eden. So I think it is important for us to know who to pay allegiance to. Either your husband is your Lord or your boss is your Lord. But after reading my Bible, all the pages, I've always seen the husband being called Lord. I've never seen boss being called Lord. Lord means that is a man that has the final say. Lord means that's a man that can call the curtain. In other words, I should be ready enough to forgo 5 million salary because I want to stay back with a person that is superior authority. No. You understand? Yes, now, as I'm telling you now.
This is getting serious.
Now, it's getting serious. And now, as I'm talking to you, now. That's why I say, who you pay allegiance to is who commands. And there is a clash between the boss. That's why I say, if a husband and a wife have their homework done very well, the boss will not infringe against their decision. But if they had no decision back at home, that's where there will be a clash in who you pay allegiance to.
Let me take this one. Greetings to you all in the studio. May I suggest the reason why some ladies find fulfillment in careers is the absence of decent, responsible men. The world is broken because of the fall of fatherhood. Remember, some men are so deceptive and the woman finds their careers are not deceptive. So some will drift to find solace in their careers. Remember, God created the man first. The responsibility was given to the man and the woman was to be a helpmate. 90% of divorce is on the man and not the woman. We should place spotlight on men and not the women. The man has the responsibility, not the other way around. Okay, Frank is writing from Ngaundere. You agree with Frank? What did you just say?
No, he can't agree with him.
Okay.
I can't agree with him. There are some things that people talk from the level, the point of a layman.
Okay.
If he finds himself in that situation, he will say something different. That's what these whole things are. But the concept about life is
that it is difficult to find a decent man, a responsible man. Reason why women are giving themselves to work in. Yeah.
Those are some of the, it's like very small things. There are cases like that in any way. There are some women that are not also proud of their husbands, especially they don't even want people that they are working with to even know their husbands. So there are people like that. So we can't just see that is how every other woman is operating. And I'm going to try to tell you something about this issue of women trying to weigh one side at the expense of other. Like Apostle Ambe just said right now, that we are starting everything from the home. If there's an agreement at home, it's going to be working so well at the job site. You know, you used to say, now when man don't get money, now they say why they go buy for supermarket. Say they go for market, for bush market. You understand? There are no things. You see, a man who is fighting with the wife that the wife does not cook food. You know, the wife does not cook food. You know, it's a man that cannot hire maybe a house help or a cook who can cook. But those who have all those things, they have house helps and all those things. They don't go around their wives trying to bug at them and trying to do all those kind of things. Now, like I said, the root of marriage is love. The root of marriage is understanding. Everyone must get to an understanding from the beginning. Grow in marriage, grow in love. That's how these things work. But when you get to the point where you just want to find fault or you just want to weigh at one side because you think that the home is not going well, you're going to cause a lot of problems to yourself. So you don't like the man you marry. Now it's your problem. It's not anybody's problem because you're the ones that put yourself in that particular shoe. And they usually say to be innocent doesn't to be, the fact that you did not know does not mean that you're innocent. The fact that you did not know does not mean that you're innocent. Ignorance is not innocence. That is exactly what we're trying to say. You entered into marriage and at that time you thought that man was a life jacket, and all of a sudden you discover that you have grown in money. So this thing is about behavior, character-wise. You know, a man that is a humble person, no matter how rich and wealthy they are, they won't flare up. They won't become any kind of thing. That's same with a woman. We're just trying to ask that, is poverty synonymous to dirtiness? No, it's not like that. It's just that some people have as a mindset, it's a problem of the mind. That's exactly the issue of career. Is career women a problem, or is it that to find yourself as a career woman, it becomes automatically a problem in your marriage, or what? The answer is no. Is that most career women take their character into career and it becomes a problem to their lives and their homes. A woman that already has a difficult character or has suffered from abuse or maybe has promised herself that when she has money, she will show man picking and pepper. You know, when you enter with that kind of a mindset, of course, you will begin to behave like that. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that there are a lot of things that women go in today because of what they put in their mind. They are humble wives who are career women. I'm telling you the truth. They are humble wives. I have seen them. When you travel, when you meet people, you will understand that this thing is true. You know, you are in love. You're in agreement with both. You know, sometimes they're at work and they begin to ask you, "Hey, how are you? What are you doing now? Join me for lunch," or that kind of a thing. And then you go out. You will not have this stress of career woman kind of a thing. But now when you have the strong traditional African man mindset, the strong one, that you just believe, say, immediately my wife start working, he gave for more me. Now me first, there will be a problem. There will be a problem. You must be liberal in these things. You must be liberal. I am talking like this because a lot of people are already in the trap, so I'm trying to see how to break some of you and help you out in this particular situation. You must be liberal, because if you still want to stand at that man picking position, that I am a man and he has to do that, it becomes a problem. Try to see how to be dynamic and then strike a balance. Try to see how to be able to cover up, and then some things, meet up some things. Look, it's not wrong to show some attention in some areas that maybe she finds it difficult to handle. It's not really wrong, you understand? It's not really wrong. You're already there. That's what I'm talking about. For those who are not there, please, we're trying to tell you that it's a wrong thing as a career woman to want to ride over your man, or to ignore your home, or to think that you are the head of the family instead of the man. It's a very bad idea. But we're trying to talk about the ones those who are already in this particular kind of a situation, I'm telling you this, that's the truth. Don't be stereotyped as a man. Just like what this guy was trying to say there. Don't be stereotyped as a man and begin to think that, no, things must be done your way. There's going to be a lot of problems. Sometimes there are some things you will ignore, that your wife will even look at you and wonder whether he really see the two are doing so. Then she does it again, and then you just ignore some of those things. She will adjust and begin to become what she has to be. Some of these things is a mindset. And of course, the women also have the mindset that so far as you start working and you can control people at your office, no man has the right to control you. You are now a boss and a big woman. Yes, that also has a problem with you deciding of how to switch characters. Of course, you should learn how to switch characters. It means that at your job site, you must maintain the position as a manager, but at home, you have to switch and become a mother, and become a wife, and become maybe a friend, and become a neighbor. All these things are very, very necessary. Some of you career women, what the neighbor do you know the salon neighbor them? You leave your house and you are going out as if it's a problem, and then when their family remain behind, neighbors are also helpful to be able to watch some things that are going on and see how to help. In case somebody falls down, in case somebody has a challenge, they can defend your family. But all of a sudden you develop this strong character, this manly attitude, and you think you will control everybody. No, the men are already prepared. If you see all these guys that are talking here right now, they are prepared and they know that that is not correct and that is not right. But I must tell you that you have already found yourself in there. Watch whether it is a character riding you or it is the profession, because sometimes it's not even a profession. Sometimes it's not even the demand for work. Sometimes it's an attitude. Sometimes it's a bad behavior. Sometimes it's a choleric tendency that you have adopted and gone into this thing. Now, let me tell you something. There are some women that were not even supposed to get married, but they force and they look for marriage, and when marriage comes in, they begin to complain and they begin to blame. At the end of the day, who takes the blame? You take the blame, because you knew quite all right that marriage is not your thing. You knew quite all right that you could not submit to a man, but you took all the energy, and sometimes you're the one that even buy the man over. Sometimes you're even that's the man the one that seduces this man over, and then when they marry you begin to bring bosses and all kinds of things. Well, our men will want to say that you don't find yourself inside something. You have to learn how to handle it. You have to learn how to switch. You have to learn how to be dynamic. You have to learn how not to take some things and put at heart. You have to learn how to cover some space. Sometimes you may suggest a house help. Sometimes you may suggest maybe a cleaner. Sometimes you may suggest to take things at a dry cleaner. All those things are very important in this thing.
Now, one of the key problems career ladies face with their husbands is the fact that some of them get embarrassed, especially when you are high up there and your husband is still struggling. You get embarrassed even to introduce you to their colleagues and their circles, and is that not also a problem? And yes.
I think
maybe your husband cannot express themselves very well. Maybe they cannot dress well. You are this. Okay.
Yes. The truth there is, we have addressed.
Because we are looking at how to cope.
Yes,
sustain a relationship.
True.
Yes.
And
you're married to this lady who is now a bank manager, who is a director somewhere, and the class is there. You are also struggling somewhere.
Yes, Mr. Leo, before we even handle this topic, we have seen that even a man can have the same problem. So it's not a woman thing. We have talked in this same platform that that's why even Apostle Ambe, sometimes we give advice that it's not good that there should be so much difference intellectually and some kind of thing, because sometimes you have to elevate. You have heard how, God, I've had all of those kind of things where a big man is there and the woman cannot already talk God, and all of those. So it's both ways. It's both ways. So if a man can feel funny about his wife, how can a wife not feel funny about the husband? It's social. It's social. It's social.
Also made that problem here.
Yes, it's a social problem. But you see, talking about coping, if I want to throw my 2 cents in what has been going on here, I would say the first problem comes with when Jesus said you cannot serve 2 masters. One of the things master he mentioned is money. And you see in most career pursuits, It's hardly a vocation, it's more of a profession that has to do with money. And a lot of times this money, for example, Mr. Lou, you have go on statuses now. You will see a girl, just because she's working 35,000 francs a month, she's calling herself Miss Independent. I pay my bills. She's already sounding like she is first lady of a country. And yes, this is true. And somebody came and asked, what really makes you independent? Some are even still in their father's household. But yes, because they have 35,000, 50,000, 100,000, they begin to feel like that. And this comes because money gives you a certain illusion. When we go into this thing, because you want that with money you can rule. Another problem is most of the people motivating our ladies into career are bitter women. So career pursuing was a revenge mission. It must affect home. The people mentored because the spirit transmitted. I told somebody, I said, somebody can be saying the right thing with the wrong spirit. That's true. I've always said that all these so-called women emancipation, I am one of the greatest people who believe in women. I know it. I say it everywhere. So there was a time in my organizations, in my ministry, you look around. That one time I turned, I saw my organization, almost all my coordinators and leaders are ladies. I was like, wonderful. Until I had to call my guys around, started praying that, Lord, send us boys. So you know, it was amazing. But I looked at it because I believe that if somebody can do it, they should do it. But now, following everything that's been said here, you know, one of the reasons I'm here is because I always try to trust things from my young perspective before we come in. Now, whether we like it or not, bosses are very powerful people. Yes. Sometimes let's not treat it as if bosses come with a lot of force. And a woman to climb the corporate ladder needs a certain allegiance to that boss. We cannot downplay this thing because it's very easy to just sit in the house and say if boss talk, no, we don't. You as a young man, don't just sit. You will just sit and cancel anything that is said at the job site, and you still expect this same woman to climb. We must paint the right picture. And that is why when a woman is in pursuit of something, my greatest cry for that woman is pursue something that is purpose related, not just money, not a pursuit of money. Because at the end of the day, we also want to leave legacies. We also want to, we have seen that society is dependent also on the family unit. We have seen all these benefits and everything, and we have seen that the woman is a real manager of the home and all of these things. So if the woman is pursuing that, whether you like it or not, as a woman pursuing something bigger than yourself, the kind of men that you can marry also will change. It's not any kind of man. So, but we need to start giving this picture, because when the woman start pursuing it, start asking yourself this question: how am I following? Because before the man even comes, then when as a man you discover that this woman is so much involved in pursuing something, that is when you start asking the right questions, so that both of you can start coming into an understanding long before. Don't just sweep a woman, put under you, and you are planning that when you enter my house, now me I go finally control all this. Because at the end of the day, we will not stop these things that is fast rising. This is just a little thing I want to paint a little picture, because yes, I want us to have this picture, because it's very easy to say some certain things. Say, you say a small man will just be there, you don't understand the importance of a person's job and how they are doing and everything. You just start, as I don't deny, and the woman is. So I think we need to really come to that place where we understand. Once you see a woman who is aiming high, sometimes you know it, you might not understand everything, you know it, rather than running to marry her, it's better you understand what she's really involved into, exactly what she's trying to go, where she's headed, and see whether you can accompany her to that direction.
But these women must recognize it too.
Yes, no, we are just trying to put a balance. No, of course, I think we are trying to put a balance. I was just trying to put a balance to what has been said here. Like I said, today is getting hot, but I think I just need to throw this. Yes. So, and I think because a lot of times, men have come. You yourself, especially a man who does not understand how to pursue vision, what it is. They don't understand loyalty, because even a job site requires a certain degree of loyalty, a certain degree of time, a certain degree of this, and that's why it's good to know it, so that you don't cut a woman's lifeline short, something that animates her. I told somebody, I said, if they stop this thing I'm doing today, I will become very boring to my wife, because this is the thing that animates me. I always say, I said, that thing that made you, that made me bright, makes me come alive, that made me an attractive man to you, is this thing. So if you take it away from me, I know what I'll become. So some women are like that.
Yeah.
Let's be very certain. Some women are like that. So ask yourself also as a man whether you can be able to accommodate that. Because right now, what I would like to know, we cannot stop this rising problem.
Yes, rising problem. Almost every lady today, especially with the effect of the social media, wants to be a career lady, wants to be seen driving a Range Rover, standing beside a huge house and apartment, and very difficult is marriage, because traditionally we knew that when a lady was growing up, what they prayed for was marriage.
Yes.
Even after was a husband. Even after obtaining a degree, instead of praying for a job,
Husband.
all the churches, you guys are men of God now. The number one prayer was husband. But today, I don't know. Is this institution of marriage endangered somehow? Because the focus that was given, the focus, value, and importance that was given to it in the days past is gone.
Exactly, and this is actually the factor that gives birth to these things we're sharing here this evening. Without this shift and this drift, it's not only a shift, but it's a drift from the core values and the core attributes that God made marriage to be and family life. I think most of these things are also triggered sometimes by the fact that there are women who are into career, but they have not learned the art of managing that career and their home. There are some who have just gotten themselves indulged and involved in exaggeration, and that is one of the things that will make some men to begin to resent the fact that they're working somewhere. There are men who it's better in fact they should stay with you and be drinking water rather than saying that you are working so that you can bring money to the home. Now, if we look at God's initial template for marriage, you say there is a man and the woman is the helper to the man. Now, if a woman has now become the major, in fact her career is taking her away from her role as the helper to the man, where then will the man get the help, which is one of the capital issues that the woman is coming into his life to become. Therefore, the two sides of this coin is a man is supposed to provide sufficient leadership to a woman. You are supposed to be such that a woman can depend on your leadership and be secure that with you you are taking the home, you are taking the marriage somewhere. Not the kind of men who, in fact, they're just lazy around, and at times they spend their time searching the wife's purse to look for money and in fact to look for something to go and drink, and they fidget around. There will be moments, there can even be moments where as a man maybe you've lost your job. Within that time, what are you doing to show your woman that you are not just lazing around, you are actually you are passionate to get something in order to get the home moving ahead? So this aspect, as I've said, it has to do with mindset. If people can balance their priorities, the appetite you have for the job and what you have as your priority towards the family, it will pay off pretty much. There is no way you can say you want to be a successful career lady and then maybe the 4 children you've had with your husband, the 2 children you have with your husband, they are left to the mercy of house helps and that kind of thing. Tomorrow you'll not be proud of yourself because the same child that you have ignored today or you've neglected will become a thorn on your flesh tomorrow and may even be a threat to the same career that you are pursuing. So all of these things that I was saying, balance is key. Let me talk of women who are, for example, maybe their jobs take them away from home. You must be able to touch base. You must be able to keep touch even when you are away. Because when you are not in touch, there is much that can go wrong. When you are involved in your career, make sure you reserve the requisite energy to at least be able to come back home and fulfill the motherly and the conjugal responsibilities that you have. There are some men who cheated because their wives are always tired every evening and cannot satisfy their sexual demands. That's why they cheated. And without justifying it, it might be to an extent a mitigating factor to the fact that your husband cheated. So in essence, if a woman is involved in her career and the husband is also seeing that she is doing her best involved in that career and still trying to fulfill her matrimonial and her family duties, I'm not sure a man will be too wicked to get into persecuting the woman. And then talking at from the angle of independence, which I mentioned in my first submission, there are women whose desire for them to be in career is so that they should have their own money. They don't want anybody to give them money and install them. Now, when you look at it from that angle, and especially in a marriage where their financial management is separate, anybody, you earn your money, you spend it the way you want, and if necessary, at times even some women, they earn more than their husbands, and to them, taking care of the house of the family is the husband's responsibility. So, how do you want a man to support you in such a career? That your money is good only for human hair, only for long high heels, and only for Turkish dresses. All that's all.
They say that's my money, my own.
Yes, my money, my own. So that's so women are very blunt about it. They say the husband's money is their money, and her money is her money. So, where on earth will you see a man that is going to support such a kind of behavior? So all of these things have to do with a kind of balance, the way you drive things across, the way you pay attention to the matrimonial and family duties or responsibilities that are ahead of you, and all the other things put together are going to be falling in place. The truth is that some of these career endeavors even may be possible at certain levels of the relationship. There are times that during childbearing, when the children are this small, it will be difficult, if not impossible, for you to say that you'll be getting involved in a kind of career that takes you away from the home. But now, when the children have grown to a certain level, at least two of you would have been mature in the relationship, and the children have grown, and the responsibilities back at home have been at least reduced to a certain extent. Some kind of careers may be possible. But the truth is, if we don't face the realities on ground, if we don't look at what is actually contextual, if we don't look at what is actually on ground, and we see that we refer our decisions, we refer our priorities to God's own template when He began, there's going to be a problem. We'll be bound to have issues in the home every day, because the husband thinks he is the man who is supposed to benefit from the help of a woman. If the man keeps moving and he's not having the help of the woman, he will start getting frustrated, and gradually the home begins to drift away. And
the help is money.
That's why I'm saying that at the end of it, the template, because some men they don't even care. Some men even just want the woman to go and be working and be given for them to take the same money and chase other women with it. That is how some men are that mean. They want that as the woman works and brings the money, they just be cajoling her as if she will have take that money and then go and chase other women with it and so on. So if all of this, that at the end of it all the things we are doing, we are trying to see that we solidify the marital bond that binds both of us, there's going to be trouble. We see that at times you are growing the ladder, you are improving in your career, and sometimes some of these women they grow by sexually transmitted promotion. They sleep with, there are women who sleep with their boss for them to be promoted. So all of these things together, if you actually attain growth by this formula, how can you come back to your marriage and expect to have a good marriage? So all of these things have to do with everyone revisiting our priorities, revisiting the values that animate your home, and seeing how you can get things on their rails.
Okay, let us take a second intervention of Mrs. Asanji Yvette from Bamenda, who will be telling us on how to balance this marriage and career life.
Mr. Leo, for a career woman to actually be married and have a successful relationship or marriage, I think the first thing is they need to marry a man who is very understanding, a man who is very supportive, a man who will not be insecure or feel threatened. I mean, that man that has that confidence in themselves. If not, the confidence in her will surpass that of the man, and the man will begin to feel threatened. So before you think of marrying a career woman, I think you should look at how confident are you as a man. It is very important. So you don't feel insecure. Because the more she grows, maybe the more the world knows her, the more the world honors her and all of that, you can begin to feel threatened. Okay, so the first thing a career woman needs is marrying a man who is understanding and a man who is supportive. Okay, then the next thing is make him understand your vision. he needs to know your vision. He needs to know your schedule. He needs to know your dedication. Now, with this in mind, he now understands when he can have access to you and when he cannot have access to you. For example, if my husband calls me and says I'm on counseling, automatically he will drop, because he knows that first of all, counseling, I don't even pick calls during counseling. It is first of all wrong. Okay, but should in case I pick his calls, or I can just write him a message, I'm in a counseling session, he understands. But if I did not make him understand my vision and purpose and everything, it would have been difficult. So a career woman, whoever you're getting married to, you need to do what? Let them understand that this is your vision, this is what you have as a vision, this is what you have as a purpose, your dedication, your schedule. You know, even your schedule for the day. Sometimes if I'm leaving the house, I'll really help make him understand, okay, this is my schedule for the day. I'll be busy, I'll be very busy today, I'll be like this. You know, it helps a lot. It helps a lot. Equally, a career woman should set your priorities right. Set boundaries. Now, as a career woman, I know that, okay, from this time to this time, I'm doing counseling, I'm busy with other things. And then from this time to this time, I am attending to my home, to my children, to my husband. Now, it has happened that sometimes I get to do counseling at very odd hours. In that case, I plead with my husband. I think I've done counseling sometimes 2 a.m. due to time differences in time zone. Equally, I've done counseling sometimes at 7 p.m., you know, when he's coming back home at maybe 6:30, 7 p.m. And, you know, here in Bamenda, we don't stay out. So I can talk like that. Some men are like, what? What is he coming home at 7 o'clock to? Yeah, he comes home at 6:37. Bamenda is not the place where we stay out for too long. Okay, so sometimes if I'm busy with counseling and he's coming back home, he might meet me doing counseling, but I must have communicated with him that, okay, I'll be doing counseling. And even when I'm with the client, I communicate with the client. I say, okay, please, this is my family time. I had to, you know, squeeze time out of my family time to attend to you. So if my husband is coming out, please, I'll have to maybe pause for 5 minutes, save his food and do other things. You know, so we must set boundaries. But then I was doing that before, not now. I had to stop working. When I leave work, I've left work. Home is home, you know. I get time, I spend time with my family, I spend time with my children. They need me. I should not carry work and get it home again and I'm still busy with work. That's why I said now, if somebody is getting to me for counseling and you want it at your very convenient time, I can be understanding. But if you should want me to do counseling just because you cannot, you're a businessman, you cannot squeeze 1 or 2 hours from your business place to come and do, you leave it. If that problem is very pressing, I mean, if you're sick, you go to the hospital. You close your shop and go to the hospital. So I had to set those boundaries very, very, very clearly, so it doesn't interfere with my marital life and my duties as a wife. Okay, so I need to do that. Then when you say your priorities right, like for example, family comes first. Sorry, God comes first, family second, then work comes third. I remember there was a day my son fell, the prime hour baby fell, and I was 2 minutes to starting counseling. It was a Monday, ghost town, of course, we're home. So I was 2 minutes to starting counseling, and I took the baby, quickly rushed him to the father and said, please help me with him. I'm about starting counseling. And he said, madam, sit down here and attend to this child. Say, sit down, baby, sit down here and attend to this child. I almost got angry then. At one moment, it dawned on me that family first, you know. Family first. So I actually had to pause. I told the client, okay, you know what? I'll be starting counseling with you 5 minutes late. I attended to the baby. Then later on now, I went back to counseling the client. So this is how it works. Mr. Leo, I think I will be coming back for my last intervention, please.
Very much, Apostle Ambe Valentine. You were going to react to the fact that some ladies feel uncomfortable as career ladies, especially when their husbands are not up to their standards. But we must also understand that they did not begin at the level where they find themselves. They grew into this. What if you are as an intelligent lady, you're married to a man, and both of you are living an average life, and suddenly you are blessed, and you find yourself, should you actually be embarrassed because your husband has not moved levels, cannot dress, cannot speak, cannot drink champagne like the persons in your circle?
It's a little money doesn't change people. It only brings out the attitude of people.
Okay.
There are very poor people who are humble. There are very proud people who, because of poverty, they are humble. When they become rich and become proud,
Yes.
the money didn't make them proud. They had pride. It was the circumstance they found themselves that made them humble. If a woman turns out to disrespect the husband because she got a breakthrough in marriage, she had attitude problem. It was not the job that brought her that bad attitude. So sometimes we used to say money brings out the beast and the best in people. When you see a man that starts acting strangely because he got money, it wasn't the money, or it is not the money that has made a person become a beast. The beast had been in him ere long, waiting for something to fan a glow, that beast, so that it start manifesting. That is the reason why we see rich women who have good attitudes. The money doesn't influence them, because that attitude is something that is ingrained in their human psyche from childhood. She was given a proper upbringing. She was given the respect and honor for elderly persons. She was given a kind of pattern of life that makes her understand that money does not determine rank. Money is not age. Money does not make you an elder. Money automatically is just a privilege and a favor that God gives to individuals. It does not change people's status. Just like in Yoruba land, some persons who are not rich, but they are elderly persons, if you see them, the custom tells you prostrate. You will prostrate because the man is rich. They don't prostrate to rich people in Yoruba land. They prostrate to elderly people. And that's a culture planted in the heart of a child. So if a woman turns out tomorrow to have money and then begins to despise the husband, I can tell you she had attitude problem before the money came. Now on the other hand, you cannot marry a woman who has first degree and she's shifting to masters and going to PhD and you're observing her. You have to match up. You have to grow. You may grow academically, you may not have the finances, but the ability to interact with men of her class and her status will be there. So sometimes women face challenge. It's not because you don't have the money, but because you don't speak the language at that level and you are not exposed to some extent that you can associate with people, because association does not automatically mean finances. There are very, very poor guys who know how to interact. They can mix up with presidents, they can mix up with any category of individual, because they have grown to know how to interact with the social class. Jesus operated like that. You will see him tomorrow with kings, the next time you see with prostitutes and beggars in the street. That tells you he was able to navigate his attitude to fit according to the class structure that he found himself. For instance, you and I, we can go to the market, we meet madam, buy and sell, we'll talk in pidgin. Once you leave that environment, you go to somewhere else, the class is different. Okay, for instance, I was in London. We were asked on how to dress. We were told how to dress. It's a class. That's how they operate there. They tell you are coming with business suit. You are coming with tie and shirt. You are coming in this capacity. That environment tells you that there is a particular demand for an attitude in that particular area. Now, if you fail in that area, it's not because of poverty. It is because you do not know how to interact with people in the society. So when your wife is growing, also grow. Don't just fold your arms and sit there. A girl is in your house with A levels. She shifts to first degree. She goes to master's degree. I told my wife some time back, I say, the way I'm growing in this life, if you don't follow me educationally or academically, you are going to have a problem in the future. And she picked up the challenge. And that's the reason why it is very difficult for me to enter anywhere and get intimidated, because my wife has been raised to a position where she can communicate and interact with any category. She didn't leave herself behind. For instance, many people used to watch Dr. Williams. If you know him, he's a great apostle in Ghana. Some say, oh, God called him as an illiterate. He didn't know how to speak English language. He didn't leave it like that. Many pastors, let me come to the church. Many pastors use Dr. William as their reference. He didn't go to school. Dr. William that got born again, Dr. William we have right now. The one we have right now has improved to the extent where he can accommodate presidents. So don't carry the yesterday of Dr. William and want to compare him today. The Dr. Owole we are having right now is married to Rosa Whittaker, who is one of the greatest shareholders of Whittaker Group of companies in America. So what we must understand is that you cannot be married to somebody who is growing and you get yourself stagnated on the same spot. Tomorrow, if you are humiliated, it is not the woman humiliating you, it's a class structure. There's an environment you enter that you cannot fit. You can't fit, it will fight you. And I thank God because my exposure to TV, my exposure to other things gave me the capacity to know how to associate when I went to meet some particular class of individuals. Because all the persons I met were high-class diplomats. And I've never been a diplomat. How do you associate? How do you interact? How do you communicate? Not the African mentality where you want to go and meet somebody, the person you have to stand for somebody to come and greet you. No, a white man walks to you. A white man walks to you without knowing you, talking to you, associating with you, exchanging cards with you. That's another atmosphere. You must walk according to the trend of the environment. Most people sometimes just remain there. You want to show me say you don't go school past me, it's complex. You want to show me say you don't get money past me, it's complex. She's not showing you she has money more than you. She's not showing you she has gone to school more than you. If you want to challenge the status quo, go to school like her. If you want to challenge it, make money like her. We are not asking any woman who has grown in academic and finances to respect a husband. There's some husbands who should not be that naive to the extent where they will fold their hands and watch a woman just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and then you are sitting there. You cannot even be able to interact with her own colleagues where they work. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. So we are calling on women to respect their husbands, submit to their husbands, but the men also should make sure they beef up themselves to match up with the new status a woman has attained. For instance, they will call it some kind sumptuous party, some kind place in an environment where people are highly respected. You just carry your local cake mentality and you go in. No woman will feel comfortable. I have been where a girl will sit like this, the husband stands to address the crowd, she's crying because she knows what the man will say. I have counseled many women who will tell me that I have told him that he should not be talking. He should not even talk so that they won't know what he is saying. Then he will go and force himself to talk and he will talk something that will just... He will upset. I beg him in the answer we are going. I know you don't know how to talk. Don't talk. First person to the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen. Why don't you sit quiet? Must you go and disgrace me? Every woman wants a man that projects her, that sells her image outside.
Now, let's look at their capacity to receive counseling from you guys. I want you people to share that experience, that is career lady and marriage life, and their disposition to taking the advice from persons like you who may not also be up to their level. How disposed are they to take counsel?
Okay, I want to advise leaders and ministers of God who have young ladies who are yet to have a job. Please take your time and train them at that level. Because when they reach a certain level, they won't take to advice anymore. That's how it goes. Because that's the truth. It's just like in the journey of life, there's a certain age where you can no longer teach children to learn. You reason with them. They become your friend, especially when they are reached 18 years. You bring them to be your friends. That's why some pastors have lost many powerful, potential, wealthy people in their churches because they believe that he get for year with you talk by force. If you know 1 year and I'm the boss for year, then you have a problem because you will lose a lot of these people. Sometimes learn to talk with them at the same level. Reason with them. Let them understand that you understand what success have brought to their lives. That is when it will be easy to reason out with them. And they will give you your respect at all times. There is this truth. Women naturally don't take to advice. Naturally, even the one that did not go to school, the one that went to school, the one that is rich, the one that is poor, they don't naturally take to advice. What they prefer is when they talk, you listen. You must give them listening ears. They want people who can listen, but they don't want to listen. And that is what has brought a lot of problems. We are talking because we see a lot of problems happening in the homes today. The trouble that is happening even at the level of the church has become so alarming in such a way that you don't know where to go to anymore, because you have spoken to the women severally, just like what we are doing here now. We are giving counseling and advice. You will still see a professional woman who will tell you that down at their own now, because they don't get time. They don't get time for 5 months. I don't know what should nobody they talk. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Yes, no, we're the broke ones.
Many of those professional women honor pastors more than their husbands. They can take advice from their papa, but they can't take advice from their husbands. They always have people who can talk to them. And that's why if you present yourself like anything, they say if you present yourself like monkey, like banana, monkey go chop you. That is the truth. Now, these professional women take advice more from man of God, prophets. So you see a lot of them have friends with about 15, 20 prophets in the town. There are 10 prophetic programs. They don't have time to be in the house to do some kind of work at home. But when there is a prophetic program, they will go there. What do they want? Promotion. What do they want? They want to fight their enemies that are fighting them in the office. Next level. Yes, let my face shine. You know, they have oil for face shining. They have different oils and waters around them. That's what happens with these professional women. Now, there is something that can happen to your life. Immediately you start submitting to your husband, you have divine protection. Immediately you start showing love to your home and to your family, you start having favor from God, because God has put favor in that particular thing, in particular submission. When you submit to your husband and you can take to advice and you can listen to them, automatically something comes out from heaven and backs you people up. That's why he says, he that finds a wife, not any kind of woman, but a wife, finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. Many of you have blocked favor from your home because you refuse to listen to your husband. You refuse to cooperate with your husband. Sometimes it is not wrong to listen to people even if they are wrong. Listen to them. Say, okay, we will think about it. Okay, as you have spoken, we will talk about it later. Then you say, okay, but later you can come back. But don't you see that thing that you said like that, would have done it this way, done it this way. If a man sees that you can reason with him, he will always want to hear from you. But if a man sees that you can always challenge him, you want to challenge him, you want to fight him, and you want to talk against him all the time, or you want to talk down on him all the time, a lot of things will happen. He will resist you, he will fight you, and he will talk negative about you. And everyone that will see you, they will see a juju coming instead of seeing a wife. And that is how so many of these professional women look now. Instead of people seeing you beautiful, they see you somehow different, because your arrogance destroys your beauty. You know, their internal capacities usually comes out in a way you don't imagine and affects your beauty. That's why you see a lot of them are trying to do one makeup after the other, one thing they want to, you don't always put on these things. No, your character is more beautiful than those maquillage and those things you put on your face. Your character is the most beautiful thing. If they see you operating with your husband or with your wife so good, people will begin to love you. They will see you glowing because of what? You have a good character. I am telling you this thing. Women who are light in complexion and naturally beautiful, that is what people usually say. But they should wait until they see a black beauty. Why do they see beauty in black? Because some of these black girls are very humble. They are very nice. They are very caring and everything. So men usually see beautiful in that. And that is it. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that take advice from people you need to take advice from. Number one, your husband. Because he's the one that is going to remain with you at the end of the day. Everybody will go away. Your man of God will abandon you sometimes, but it is your husband that will be there 24/7. Get back, build this marriage. Let me tell you something. Marriage is not something you get up overnight and see it grow. No, you must put in something. You must make some things happen. You must learn to put some things in place. Now I shave low cut in my hair constantly. Now I shave low cut because I used to keep grown up hair, and my wife would be telling me every day I want to go, he will give me one comb that I should put in the car. And then I said, no, time for me to put that comb in the car. I shave my low cut so that I will not have time to keep it combs and everything. So this kind of thing, yes, and you just solve some of these problems the way they have to. They have to be solved. That is how this thing goes. Please build marriage. Take your time. No, that woman is not a devil. No, she has a soft spot. And let me tell you something about soft spots. Soft spots are the best spots to touch of a woman. Find her soft spot and begin to handle it. She will listen to you and she will hear you talk. But when you become arrogant and you want to prove this African man mentality that no, it is you, it is you, it is you, anything they want to talk, you shout. No, they will not listen from you. let me tell you something they will not listen from you. I'm calling your attention today, my friends. There is the best thing you can do to your wife. Make your wife your friend. They will listen from you without stress. But when you see a woman finding it difficult to listen from a man, it means the man has proven tough. And especially those men that after speaking like that, and when they find themselves on bed, he can do nothing. Look, that woman will never respect you all the days of your life. That's how this thing is working. So
now, powerful lady, strong, focused lady. That is what how
they have defined.
They have been defined. Yes, and yes, strong, yes, powerful, focused lady who know what they want to get. They prioritize the job over the relationship. So, in this case, how does the man actually survive? Because the wife is strong, powerful, focused. The Bible says one to submit, which means in this case, the man needs to submit.
Well, not really, because Jesus also said that when a strong man is in the house, only a stronger man can come and first bind the strong man before you can take anything. No, basically, I've always said this when I speak to purpose-driven ladies, because one thing we cannot run away from is that if you are not inspiring them right now, status will inspire them. Facebook will inspire them. Bitter women will inspire them.
Yes.
Movies will inspire them. We cannot, there is nothing, we cannot run away from this harsh reality. And it has brought some good too, because we have said here that many gifts, talents, graces were buried in the graveyard of marriage. I think we have this platform, the good thing about this platform is that we have brought a lot of balance to a lot of things. And we have said that a lot of things that people had within them were also buried in marriages. So now some of these people are bringing out these things. Yes, depending on who is also farming them or who is also trying to, because like I said, some people are using this money as a revenge mission or trying to prove also that women can. But if you notice everything we have said here, you will already begin to see one of the reasons. I've said this in many corporate sessions and some people hate me for it. I will repeat it on air, that a typical woman and a typical man cannot compete in the corporate world. Not because of gender bias per se, but you would see in everything we are saying here that the family, that family line, that biological factor, and we also call it spiritual factor, because it also came from how God designed things. You would see that if a man and a woman are actively qualified for a job, I'm talking about the ones that both of them are qualified, and they have to select who will be taken to the next level, you would see that if both of those people are qualified, a man will most likely be chosen for these same reasons we have all mentioned here. You have heard Apostle Ambe say, if the wars come to the wars, the woman have to listen to who? To the husband. Any smart man building a system will not risk it, and then you put somebody on a position, then tomorrow it must assure for us it don't end. And I think these are some of the kind of things that we're trying to say, and even biological factors, because sometimes as it comes after the promotion, the master will say we go for born now, and sometimes whether you like it or not, children, childbearing is demanding, and all of that. So the point is very simple, that there must be a technical balance. But that balance...
Is this your technicality that's going to bring us problem here?
Yes. No. When I say technical balance, I'm saying that we cannot... A boss will not stop being a boss because you're married.
Of course.
That is what... I'm just trying to say, that this reality will stand. This harsh reality of these ladies, because the question is what? That look at how the things are right now in front of everybody. How does a woman right now in work in such a situation? Because that's what we're trying to look at here. And you have seen that there is already a priority which we all have agreed here. And I think that's why we're trying to look here, because it will not change from the other side. Yes, so I think that if it is approached from grooming what is within you and allowing its expression to a certain degree, that strength, there are men, I always tell women who have passion, Miss Alio, that there is no woman that there's nothing that you have to do on this earth, that there is no man whose vision or his own, who has not created room for it. There is somebody. Sometimes also it's because there is also a fight for such career women, like Mr. Apostle Afre say, that a woman knows that you are not ready for marriage, but yet you even go buy the marriage, can't keep them, forget the name. So I think there is a man, as much as your vision is going big, find a person with a bigger vision. There is somebody who can accommodate what you have within you.
That's a question I have for
there's somebody who has something bigger that you can accommodate.
Tato, which has to do with the vision you have as a man and that of a woman. You see a lady who typically is a career lady, and you know your capacities and where you can earn, and yet you're going after this lady hoping that maybe you want to gain financial favors, and thinking that okay, she may make up for your lapses. Can this work out into a successful, happy marriage? Where visions do not actually match. This lady has a very big vision. She's going after something, and you come talking love, 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 and hoping that she will understand somehow because she's your wife.
The chances for such relationships prospering are very slim, if at all they're even there at all. You see, one thing people must understand is that as a man, avoid going into a relationship as a gold digger. And that is a temptation many men have fallen into.
Young person.
Yes, in fact.
I'm not going to school.
The honest truth is that there are some men who have not been able to make it in life. When I say not be able to make it in life, they have not yet had a certain level of financial breakthrough, and they think if they can just look for a woman who is mature or who has had a kind of financial stability and get married to them, they will express their manliness over the woman and begin to chop the money. That is a very serious issue, because when a woman finally discovers that you are after her because of her resources, she can frustrate you, and you will you will be frustrated. In fact, you have the frustration of your life. So getting married because you think the woman is financially stable and you want to just block into it so you can harvest is a very, very wrong decision that a man will not want to take, because the fallout of such a decision can always be so catastrophic. What is supposed to be is, for me, most often I don't really look at the economic situation of a man in the present as a very objective factor. It is true that a man, before getting married, there is need for a certain degree of economic stability, but what is more important is economic vision, not economic stability. Because there are men today who, as you're getting married to them, they have a good job, they're riding a good car and so on, and after you get married, as adversity will always have it on life, the man loses the job. The man, maybe the car, has an accident or something, and then the man which you saw that he was right up there begins to start life afresh. Meanwhile, a man who is visionary may not have it now, may not even look like it now, except for you who has the capacity to look beyond the visible and see that this person is actually visionary enough. You can talk with him, you can grow with him, and then rise to that kind of level. There are people who are out there only looking for ready-made husbands and ready-made wives to marry, and when you get into that, you are going to end up being used for money rituals, or you end up getting into a wrong marriage. You end up getting with somebody who fooled you, who begged somebody's suit to come and ask you out for marriage, or who begged somebody's car and came and ask you out for marriage, and tomorrow you find yourself that you have entered into a wrong relationship. So also for a lady who maybe you saw the lady, she is flamboyant, she is flashy in her stuff, and then the moment you get into it, you say, no, this thing like this, the investment she wants to make is for the family. She buys a piece of land in the brother's name, she goes and construct in their family compound, the car, maybe the moment the day people get married, and maybe the car carries you people back to your house. the keys are handed to one of the brothers and stuff, and then you start facing the realities by yourself. So this thing of wanting to get married for, you know, the issues of poverty alleviation is a very bad kind of step that you're taking that can cost you your life, can cost your mental and emotional health. Now, going back to what Mr. Leo has said, one thing that people must understand is when two people want to get married, understand the place of premarital counseling. And one thing that we always try to look at, the compatibility in terms of life goals and visions, is a very important aspect of premarital counseling. Because there are people that when you want to you know, before marriage, as you're discussing with them, you see that maybe what is passing through one of them, what's passing through, he says, no, we'll fall bush. Following bush is not a vision. Traveling abroad is not a vision. Traveling abroad is not a vision. What makes somebody, in fact, visions like a purpose for which somebody is living, or somebody's desire to create a certain level of impact, is what makes the difference in the life of somebody, which you can create it both home and abroad. People who create impact, they don't necessarily have to be confined to a certain geographical region to be able to be productive in what they are doing. So when you get into a relationship where two of you are about to marry, and you see there's an asymmetry, there's a divergence in what this person is passionate about and what this other one is passionate about. If a good counselor is working with you people, he is going to say, until you people harmonize this thing, it's not good to proceed with this relationship. But if people decided that, oh, we know all we want to do, in fact we have read books and so on, you will see that you've gotten married to the man or to that woman, and tomorrow two of you have different passions, and you know, the lady. We've had a case where a man, he's a pastor by calling. He's a pastor. He operates in the office of a pastor, and he is that kind of person who is so welcoming. He wants to be so accommodating to people, and the lady wants her space. That kind of thing, you see, the lady will be like, okay, I need my space, and the man says, please, I think we should impact people. Just that thing can cause a kind of rift in a marriage. It has caused pastors in a lot of pastors' life. Yes.
These are the problems that happen.
Mommy pastor doesn't want people to come and dirty her floor. Yes. He doesn't want people to come and eat her food. He doesn't want people to come and do it. But the man is accommodative. He has, you know, and then the next minute we'll see like she'll even end up suspecting sisters that are coming near the husband that they have affairs with him. That kind of thing. So when some of these things are not handled before you say I do, the tendency is that tomorrow it will not be easy to solve, because people at times can even be able to bend some of their hardcore principles before marriage. But when they end up getting married, it's like, okay, I'm already seated here, it's my thing. Especially for those who think they came to that relationship maybe to revenge, or they came to a relationship to consolidate their position as somebody who has that kind of character flaw. But if you are somebody who has, okay, I've entered into it and I can try to see how I flow, the tendency is people who do not have a kind of compatibility in vision, it is difficult for it to be. And it's not supposed to be that the woman is supposed to be more visionary. There are a few cases. For example, when you look at this late Papa Olangi of Combat Spirituel, few people will know that mama was the vision bearer of Combat Spirituel. The man came in and then she gave the place to few other such cases. But if the woman is more visionary than the man, it will be difficult, because each time she wants to express herself, the man will be looking at her as she is being domineering, and the marriage will also have problems. There will be problems every day in that relationship, because the woman wants to express herself, she wants to move fast, she wants to, and the man has that kind of snail spirit that he's dragging himself along, and will be thinking that the woman is domineering over her. That is how problems are going to break out, and that's how the relationship is not going to hold.
Apostle Ambe, before we get to you, let us take the last intervention from Ms. Asanji Yvette from Bamenda.
Yes, Mr. Leo, I was talking about setting boundaries. It's very important to set boundaries as a career woman. Know the limits. Know when you're at work. Know when you're coming home. And I'll say this to every career woman. I know we have ministers, we have presidents, we have a lot of titles out there. Women are doing wonderfully well in different positions in the society. But let me remind you that you go home as a wife. Whether you are a president, whether you are a minister, whether you are a counselor, Mrs. Asanji, people respect you all over the world. In my home, I'm not a counselor. I go back home as a wife. In fact, At home, nothing should even relate me to a counselor. I am a wife. That is who I am at home. I am a counselor in my office. I'm a counselor to the public. At home, I am the wife of Mr. Asanji. Imagine me going home now like, okay, I'm Madam Counselor, you know. No. So we need to set our boundaries. We need to know our limits. We should be careful not to carry certain things. In fact, your title, the way people honor you, if you look at how people, yeah, we thank God for grace. People celebrate me, people honor me all over the world. I mean, someone told me that all these big pastors are calling you mommy, mommy, mommy. I said, no, I've never even told anybody to call me mommy, please. I've never told anybody to call me mommy. But at least you can give me some respect by calling me Mrs., you know. So imagine you can be flattered and carried away with those praises, and then you go home now and your shoulders are rising up. And no, we set our boundaries. At home, I am a wife. Canceling, nothing. You know, it stands that way. So, okay, one other way to help balance your relationship, marriage, is, like I said, you set time for each. When you create your boundaries, you set time. Maintain a balance for your love life. Maintain a balance for your work. When it's time for work, you can do work. Even though within work, you can attend to some few family things, like once in a while you can check on your spouse and find out how they're doing, or you know how work is going and all of that. But when it's family time, it's family time. One of the things you can equally do is being very honest and very open. Be able to communicate. If you're not able to communicate, you know, you bring difficulties in your relationship or marriage. Just for example, now, let's say my husband is calling me and I'm on a long call. Who are you with on a long call? If I did not tell him that I was doing counseling, I mean, when we're doing online counseling, you can call me and I'm online, but my line is busy, and you'll be wondering, like, how can she be busy for 1 hour, 2 hours? Yes, I get, sometimes I'm online, but I'm very busy, and I will not be able to attend to any other thing. So we need to be open. We need to, you know, be honest. Now, when you build a life of honesty and openness, you realize that your spouse will not have problems trusting you. But you should not give your spouse any reasons to doubt you or raise, or anything that can raise any kind of suspicion. Okay, so career women can do well in their relationship. The truth is that as strong as they are, they still need a man. Yes, but they don't need a man that will come and restrict them. But they need a man that will love them. They need a man that will understand them. They need a man that will be supportive. I mean, I am where I am today. To be honest with you all, I am where I am today because my husband has played a major role. Sometimes, you know, I design my quotes. I design my quotes with my pictures. My husband has taken time to snap me even more than 5,000 pictures. I mean, you go to his laptop, they're full of my pictures. You go to my own laptop, they're full of my pictures. If he did not understand my vision and, you know, stand with me, I would not have been able to do all of this. And when God calls you, you know, he gives you what is also needed. I think most of the things, even some of the designs, he helps me with them. So it is not like you should be so stiff because you're a career woman, you're so strong. No, learn to ask for help when you need help. There are times when you truly need help. Because you're a strong woman does not mean that you shouldn't be vulnerable. You can be vulnerable when it is necessary. Ask for help when you need that help. Sometimes, because I'm a strong woman, does not mean that I cannot cry. If something really pains me, I can cry, I can shed tears. So, career women they should know when to be vulnerable. They should know when to ask for help. You know, they should be open. There's nobody else that can help them succeed in that career more than their spouses. Your spouse holds the answer to your career. In fact, working with them will give you a higher chance of succeeding. I think that's one of the greatest things my husband did for me. Some time back, he told me he wants to join me in this. I said, wow. And he said, I will train him. I said, what? Me? I'll train you? You know, that could have maybe, you know, made me begin to feel proud. The one prayer I always pray is that God should help me with, God should keep making me humble, even as he's taking me higher. So I think every career woman should pray for that. Okay, my husband is there. He said he will support me. He will help me. He wants to know what I'm doing and be at the background, supporting me at the background. So when you see some of us strong out there, thanks goes to our husbands, and we thank God for giving us the kind of husbands that He has given us. But I always tell my followers, please, before I talk like this and you think I have a perfect marriage, and you go and begin to compare your marriage with mine, be very careful. I don't have a perfect marriage, even as a counselor. Mr. Leo, thank you so much. And to my viewers, if you're not following me on social media, please follow me on Counselor Mrs. Asanji Yvette. Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Ms. Asanji Yvette. And we continue with you. Apostle Ambe Valentine Gwa. Let's look at this issue of profiling. Is that not also where it starts before engaging in the process?
Yes, you know, I started my initial presentation talking on those who got married to already career women and those whose wife became career women after marriage. It is important for us to understand these two intervals. Understanding if a woman is a career woman, you should be ready to bear. Because as a matter of fact, knowing that somebody has found joy in something before you met her, you should be able to adapt into the system. The person will not adapt to you. You will adapt, because it's like you met somebody who is a footballer and then you are trying to make the person go out of football. If you actually love the person, you're the one that has to adapt to that environment and make sure that you cope with what the person already is doing. That's one thing. Going back on the other hand, when a woman finds a career while with you, both of you now have to work seriously on that. Like I said earlier, if both parties can sit back home, make decisions on what they want and what they do not want, I don't think anything from outside will come to override what you guys have already agreed. Or if something pops up, both of you should sit down, discuss. If it is acceptable, you adapt it. If it's not acceptable, you guys will reject it. Like I said, if a woman is in a career already and you meet her there, the first thing you have to do is put her on the ground. Two of you sit down, talk things out as partners. This is who I am. This is what my job entails. This is how I go, and this is what I do always. Will you be able to come along with it? I know you love me, but you have to love me understanding that this is who I am, and this is the situation I find myself. And I don't think I'm going to drop these things, reject them because of you, because I've seen many destinies also being killed by marriage. I spoke to you the last time that if the grave is one of the richest places on earth, marriage is also another grave on earth where so many treasures have been killed. We have seen girls who graduated with degrees in economics, banking, finances, enter into a man's house, that degree, that career, that banking was swallowed by marriage, and she's just as good as a hard wife to take care of children. That particular aspect of marriage has instead drowned and killed potentials and abilities that were destined to help the society. Because, for instance, a woman first and foremost has a potential to save humanity before even getting married. Even if she does not get married, she still has something to offer the society. Why should marriage be the reason why a potential that God gave to serve humanity? Because people sometimes think that you deploy your potential because you want money. You deploy your potential first is to serve humanity. Whatever God has deposited in us is to serve humanity. If there is any remunerations or reward from it, it is not the primary reason why you serve humanity. That thing is serve humanity. So when a woman gets into marriage, she has that potential to serve humanity. No man has that right to swallow up that potential in the name of marriage and bury it. That's one thing. For a woman who has already found a career and she has been committed to it, and she's been engaged so committedly into it, and she's helping humanity with that career one way or the other, I think when you come, you have to adapt. You don't go to Europe and try to tell the climate to adapt to you. You go to Europe and you adapt to the climate. If it is winter, then you have to put on jacket to sustain the cold. If it is summer, you have to flow along with the environment. But for a woman also that took you by surprise, there are things you guys have put in place earlier before the career came. There are things, structures that have been put in place. Sometimes the career can come to interrupt that structure. It should be an agreement between the both of you, sitting together and say, okay, this is how we have been living, this is how we have been going, this is how we're living peacefully. But since this your job came in, it's infringing on the things we have been discussing and things we have been doing this as a family. Please, let us sit down and see how we can strategize on how either to cut some of the excess of these things or to accept them. Are we going to accept them and keep living successfully, or we are going to cut these things off? Like I said, some men actually want their family to be together and to build their children. And sometimes this career will come The career may bring the financial support, but it may take away the family joy and the peace. It can even take away the upbringing of the children. Yes. I said I was teaching in church on Sunday, because this month I'm teaching on marriage. I said a woman initially was sent to go and help a man, but most women go to look for help in marriage. That's it. Yes. And mothers give their children to go and look for help. I know why you marry so the man will go help me. I know why you marry so to go help us. No, God created a woman to go and help a man. He didn't send the woman to go and look for help. And because they don't know the priority of marriage from the very beginning, most of them step into it looking for help. And when they go looking for help, you are trying to go to look for help from somebody you were sent to help. And now the help now differs based on the individual. A man who has gone through emotional crisis, finance is not his help. Yes, a man who has gone through this difficulty in this area, yes, this is not his help. Somebody may be financially okay, but he has emotional crisis. You are sent to help him in that area. So that's the reason no two marriage is the same. You must be able to understand where your husband needs help. So when they say you are sent as a helper, know where you need to fit in this help. Because my help may be finances, and yours may not be finances. People who are financially buoyant don't need women to come and help them financially. For instance, there is a woman they call Foloronsho Alakija. She happens to be, according to Forbes magazine, the richest African woman from now. She was interviewed and she said she's a, for those of you who don't know her, she's a CEO of Fanfa Oil. She's into fashion designing and put that together. She's a multi-billionaire. The interviewer, she said she still cooks for the husband. She still washes the husband's dresses. She irons the husband's dresses. She has children. The husband is not as rich as her, but by their culture as a Yoruba woman, she prostrates when giving the husband food and sleep on the floor when greeting the husband. That is the cultural background. That is that I said your finances should not influence your attitude. If finance makes you a beast, you were a beast in poverty. It was poverty that covered the beast in you. The finance only came to bring out that beast in you. So we are saying that if you find a woman who's already in a career as a man, please respect that vocation, that profession that woman has found, that woman found before you came. But if at all the thing break forth in the course of the relationship, you guys should sit down and be able to put some things together and accept on how to operate. It is important to have a career as a woman because your career first is to serve nature, is to serve humanity. If that place, a vacuum is created in that area, many persons who benefit from your abilities are going to suffer. So we cannot take a single individual who is your husband and deprive humanity, deprive the community the opportunity of enjoying what God has deposited in you. For instance, a person like Mother Teresa, who gave her life as a sacrifice to take care of the underprivileged, supposing she was married to a man who denied her from taking that step. Do you know how many children in Calcutta Republic who didn't have access to food, education? You understand? You understand? She should have said, no, you are exaggerating this thing. Yes. You are just going there taking care of orphan. But you see, she had to cut off marriage from her picture because she realized that she has a career that she didn't want anybody to come in the picture. And as a career woman also, we can also advise you, if you know you cannot submit to a man and be able to walk along with him, it's better you just stay single. Yes. Sacrifice rather than accepting to be with a man who needs your attention, then you throw it all to your career. There will be a conflict between the two of you. A young man came to me with his wife once. The girl said, my mother is my best friend, so I cannot do anything without connecting to my mother. I told her that two persons are in love with you. There's a war over you. Your mother is in love with you. Your husband is in love with you. Your mother and your husband will fight over you. You have to make a choice and tell which person has control over you. I told the girl, I said, if you continue like this, it cannot go well with you because two persons are wrestling over you. Your mother is jealous of you. Your husband is jealous of you. If you knew you love your mother so much, you would have stayed with her. Rather than bringing this guy in the picture, making him think that you love him while you give your attention to your mother. Please make a choice. I think individuals have the right to say, I choose to be a celibate. I choose to be a eunuch. I won't marry. I want to pursue this career. Because I don't think if there was a husband on earth on Mother Teresa, that woman would have survived with that husband. It would have been like 90% of her time was given away to this orphan and these underprivileged children, while the husband would sit back at home and then begin to get confused. There's this guy they call George Muller. George Muller was a man that built an orphanage many years ago. George Muller will come out, take his truck from door to door, begging for food from door to door to go and feed the children. It was difficult. There were times that there was no food, but he moved from door to door, collecting food, groceries from here and cook for the children. A woman in that kind of person's life who is consumed with the well-being of street children, underprivileged, ostracized children. I think if that kind of woman does not understand the man's career, she will feel like more attention is given to outsiders than the woman in the house. Such persons sometimes devote a life of celibacy and those decide to serve humanity till they die. Because even the scripture says some have decided to become eunuchs for the sake of serving the Lord. So please, if you have a career and you know you cannot support it with a man, don't bring a man and enslave him, because man is yearning for something. A man wants your attention. The man wants your body. The man wants your company. He wants your entertainment. He wants you to cook for him. He wants to bear him children. So please, these are the things we need to put into place before we think. I've spoken about meeting a woman who's already in career and the one you suddenly, the one that became a career woman when you already married to her. Those are the things you have to manage.
Okay, those are the things you have to manage. We have just 3 more minutes to go. I'll just give you 1 minute. One advice to our sisters who are career ladies: how to take care of themselves also as they live with their husbands.
Yeah, actually, a lot of career women go a lot of through so much. I must say it. You as a career woman, we understand how much you go through a lot of pains. Some of you suffer with masturbation because of your tight schedule and everything. You can't really understand. You know, your husband cannot understand you, and your husband cannot be there. Especially some of you who also have working husbands, professional husbands who are never there too. We know what you go through with masturbation, you know, depression, and then pressure from work and so on. And I know some of you have decided to divert your attention from your husband to your children, because that's where you find your joy. You know, after your job should be your children. I want to tell you that don't breach that problem in marriage. Marriage is holistic. If you want to just see marriage as a package, just try to handle. I know how these pressures go at work. Sometimes they even tell some of you not to give birth to children till after 2 years, so that you are confirmed with your job before you can start having children. And then looking for children again has become a problem to you. It's been difficult for you. So I advise you, come back again and go back to the drawing board and look at marriage and look at what your life has been. Some of you don't have a happy home. Some of you go to your job, you can't perform well because of the conflicts and the clash you have with your husbands regularly. I want to advise you that you must go back to the drawing board, evaluate how your life has been, and see how you can build your life again to become positive in the society. You are not a bad woman. It's just that pressure has come over you so much. And when pressure is on you so much, you can't cope with a lot of things. Take a lot of water, drink much water, you know, go around, stroll sometimes, especially during weekends. Don't crowd yourself, just stroll, have some time with yourself or maybe with your family. It's going to be very wonderful. I want to say that don't allow pressure to push you to become a woman of anger, a woman of bitterness and whatever.
Thank you. One last word, especially to the young men and women who are not yet married, what they should be looking out for.
I think I've sunk here. Everybody who knows me knows my love for profiling. Take your time. You don't know what advantage you have now that you have not yet entered into this. Don't just take feelings into this thing. Know who you are interacting with. Find out not only what they are doing, but where they are heading to. This is where the thing is. You won't see somebody who has something boiling within them. Find out where they are going to. And ask yourself, especially as a man, can you accommodate this? As a woman, ask yourself, in all that you are and who you are becoming, are you helping the man in a way or two? I told a lady, I said, don't just be looking for help. They're always looking for who will help them. But know that whatever you are, whatever you are becoming, whatever God made you, as you are achieving and attaining and becoming, it should be fitting into the help that a man needs. And that's how you complement a man in a marriage. I think if you look at it from this perspective, it's going to be great. I just want to use this opportunity to remind for the last time, because I'm sure this is the last time I'll be saying it on TV, that TLC 2023 submissions are open, and please, deadline is on the 9th of October. 9th of October, so it means I'm not going to be here again. So I call on everyone all over the nation. If you know anybody who is gifted in music, dance, fashion, comedy, graphic design, spoken word, painting, entrepreneurship, innovation and technology, if you have any idea, skill which you want to project, TLC is that platform. Is the biggest youth exhibition in the nation that shall hold in November in Chariot Hotel, Boya. So submissions are free. So if you have any good work, or you know somebody who is gifted and wants to meet potential investors, those are the categories on the screen. You will see all music, dance, comedy, movies, photography. In fact, we have about 13 different categories. Submissions are free. It's the biggest youth exhibition on that platform. So you can contact 67552 8266. I repeat, 67552 8266. Please come and exhibit on this mega platform. You will submit for free, and you have the opportunity to be selected for this mega event.
Thank you too for coming, Reverend. Sure, one word, 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. I just want to encourage that employers too should be very careful. Somebody cannot be living with his family happily in Douala. You just take his wife and transfer to Garwa. Please, employers too should try to sort things out and make family life to develop the sanity that is supposed to be in God's terms. Thank you.
Thank you, Apostle Ambe and Apostle Esingie, Apostle Lefo, and Reverend Tato, and to you, Mr. Asanji Yvette, who came in through. From Bamenda, Northwest Regional Capital. We want to thank Desmond and Eli for production. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.